Hey everyone, this is Leo Bond back once again for the Best Buy Canada plug-in blog, and this time I've got a bit of a triple threat drone review for you with three different protocol quadcopter drones. I've got the Neo Mini drone, which is a bit of a nano quad. I've got the Slipstream Evo, that's kind of the next size up, and I've got the Dronium III, which is the biggest one in the bunch and also the only one to include a camera amongst its major features. So what we're going to do here is we'll take a close-up look at each drone in its turn, and I'll tell you a little bit about what makes it unique or special or whatever. We'll sprinkle in a little bit of flight footage as we go, and I'll let you know what I thought of these things by the end. Let's get started. Alright, so starting off with the Neodrone Mini quadcopter first here. As you can see, it's very, very small. I've got my pin for scale, so there's not much to it at all. I kind of compare it to about the size of a hockey puck, maybe 3-inch diameter. And there isn't really too much to show about this one. I did want to show the on-off switch. That's this one right in here. I'm using my toothpick as a pointer. So you just flick that over to the right, and as you can see, it does have LED lights built right in there, so that's pretty cool. Technically, I guess you could fly it in the dark. And now the charger, that's just on this side here. So there's basically this prong, and then you have your USB cord here, and that just plugs in just like this. And then you can just plug it into your computer, your laptop, whatever you have. It's not the easiest thing to line up because everything is so small about this. Now, the only other thing that I really wanted to mention about it is that the battery is permanently inside of the copter. You're not going to be able to take that out. So you just plug this entirely into your computer or whatever, just as it is. And as long as that red light is on, that means it's charging up, except when it's not plugged in, of course. But when that goes off, that means she's fully charged and ready to fly. And now, the flight footage that I got for this one was so limited because basically it's been very windy here, and every time I tried to fly it, it just sort of went up, up, and away. And so very limited flight footage. I will kind of stick a clip in there. And now let's move on to the Slipstream Evo. So next up, we have the Slipstream Evo, and this one is a pretty stealthy looking drone, in my opinion, with the black and the gray and everything. It's also got kind of an aerodynamic shape to it. I've got my pin here once again for scale, just so you can see. Now, obviously, it's not a huge drone. We'll just bring in the Nano 2 here just for a size comparison. But it is a pretty slick little one, and it was a lot of fun to fly. Now, I did have some trouble flying it because it was so windy. Every time I took it out, the wind was just blowing like crazy. So my footage is very, very erratic, and I wasn't able to get like the tricks and stuff in. This thing can do flips and stuff. I just was not able to pull that off in the wind. But now this one does not have an on switch. So what's interesting here is you actually just connect up the battery cable, just like that, and then you'll see that the little LEDs start flashing. And of course the battery on this one will come out, and all of these actually charge the same way, so they all have a USB charging cord. And this one will actually get you the most time in the air out of the three. So this one gets you about 8 minutes of flight time, whereas the Dronium, that's about 7 minutes, and the Nano drone is about 6 minutes. Finally, let's take a look at the Dronium III here, and as you can see, I've got several things going on for scale. Still got my trusty pan in frame here, and also I have stacked these things, so we got the Nano and the Slipstream Evo all together, and you can get a really good idea of just how big this is. So it is rather large, and there's just a few things that I want to mention about it. Primarily, its main feature is the fact that this one actually has a camera. Now, one thing about this camera is that, of course, it's built right into the body of the drone, so there's no gimbal or anything like that. And the only way to position the camera, if you want to sort of get panoramic shots, is by turning the drone like this or raising and lowering it, to your desired altitude to get the shot that you want. So it's not the most convenient thing in the world, but it does work. And of course, the bottom here, there's one little interesting thing, is that it's got this little spot for the chip. And so the microchip is a 4 gigabyte chip, and that'll hold your pictures and your video and whatnot. And it kind of fits right into the bottom of the drone. I've never quite seen that configuration before, so I thought it was sort of interesting. Now, also the battery just goes inside of this little trap door here. And the battery for this one is this nice big one right here. and it probably takes an hour or so. It was taking me to charge this thing up to get it ready to fly. Maybe a little bit longer than that, probably more than any of the others, just because the battery itself is kind of on the larger side. There's your on-off switch right there. And so you get the idea. It's a pretty nice drone. It's very, very light. I don't think it had quite as much power as the last year's version of the Dronium II that I tested. That one seemed to, pretty much respond, do whatever I wanted. This one has excellent stability, up and down is really good. It's made out of, crash-resistant materials, so you can, bang the devil out of it and it never seems to want to break. I haven't had hardly even a dent in this thing yet so far. But forwards and backwards and side-to-side movement, that sort of thing, I found it wasn't as responsive or as powerful as some of the other drones that I've tested in the past. But you get the idea. I'll show a little bit of flight footage here. I was able to manage a few tricks, even though it was very, very windy when I was doing this. But the stability, again, it held up quite well. So overall, I'd have to say that this is the best one of the bunch, although I'm not sure if it's my favorite. The Slipstream Evo was really a lot of fun to fly as well. But overall, they're all pretty good drones, and you really can't go wrong with any of them. Now, of course, I'm only just barely scratching the surface of what these three drones have to offer as far as features and capabilities go, particularly with the Dronium III here, which really has a lot going for it. So if you'd like a little bit more detail, go ahead and check out my complete written review at the Best Buy Canada plugin blog, where you'll find a lot of the stuff that I didn't get to cover here in the video. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about these three drones for now. I did rather enjoy testing them, although not all equally, and I absolutely found that the Neo Mini drone was the toughest overall to control. I suppose that with a smaller size drone and everything, there's just less room to put in various flight control features and whatnot that would make it easier to fly. In any case, I think that this year's protocol drones are generally an improvement over those that the company released last year, and that is my final word on the subject. As always, this is Leo Bond signing off and saying thanks everyone for watching, and have an excellent day.